Welcome to Movie Bitches! Merry Christmas! Happy Hanukkah!
Happy holidays! Happy Kwanzaa!
Retro Review, episode 11! Tonight we're reviewing one of my favorite movies of all time, While You Were Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping.
Fucking love this movie.
I love this movie. And you know what? It 96% holds up.
Totally. I had very few issues. Like, I didn't take a lot of notes because I was like, I love this. This is pleasant.
It's so pleasant.
It is so pleasant. You just let it wash over you.
Yeah.
It just makes everything better.
It really does. Sandra Bullock is a national treasure.
Absolutely. This absolutely wouldn't work without her.
No.
I mean, it does do a lot of business with, like, making this insane premise okay.
Yes.
And it really takes its time.
It does.
And really plants all the seeds of, like, she doesn't tell the lie, the nurse does, and then she goes along with it. Like, there's a lot of... Ugh.
I noticed that, like, because I hadn't watched it for a while, probably too long, to be honest.
Ugh.
But I watched it a bajillion times as a kid.
I mean, obsessed.
Like, a million times. But so I really, like, was taking note of, like, all of the different times where it was like, it wasn't her fault.
Yeah. Well, and Sal knows.
Don't tell them a thing.
She has multiple people say, don't tell them.
Together, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll
talk about it.
Certain things I did not remember of, like, these cheeky comedic asides or, like, comedic moments that...
I mean, Glynis John's grandmother is also a national treasure.
Right? She was always my second favorite part of this movie.
Yeah. Have you seen Court Jester?
No.
We should definitely watch it.
Okay.
It's when she's very young, and Angela Lansbury's in it, and Danny Kaye. It's really, 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 really good. Anyway, she has that voice. And she's the mom in Mary Poppins. Duh, what am I talking about?
Oh
that voice.
Well, she has, what accent is she doing? Like mid-Atlantic?
Fancy.
Oh, New Year's hasn't been the same since Guy Lombardo died.
How did Joe Kelly get to be elected? He takes marijuana.
Amen. They weren't attacks, they were episodes.
They weren't attacks, they were episodes.
Oh, jeez. It's the way, I mean, there were so many lines I was like, this isn't really funny or a thing, but boy, was it a thing to me.
Right?
You know, like, I sure said it a lot.
Ricky Ricardo was Cuban.
Didn't Peter look great today?
Oh, that kid. You know, he should have been an actor.
He's tall.
All the great ones were tall.
Well, John Wayne was tall.
Dustin Hoffman was 5'6".
Would you want to see Dustin Hoffman save the Alamo?
These mashed potatoes are so creamy.
Oh, these mashed potatoes are so creamy. They just seem like the most pleasant family.
Right?
Like, everybody in this movie is just pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, and just lovely. And they really have chemistry. Like, the family really feels like a family.
Yes.
The best rom-coms aren't about just the couple. They're about the couple and their friends and their family and their extended whatever. So, like, her confidant boss, who's really funny.
You tell them now, you might as well shoot Grandma.
Can we talk about the beginning? Because I do have some thoughts.
Well, so it starts and Natalie Cole's Everlasting Love is playing. And I was like, this is how you start a fucking movie. I was just like, yes.
And then it ends and you're just like, that was a weird montage.
It had nothing to do with
Chicago. It's just like, that's
what movies did in the 90s. Like,
we're in Chicago.
You know, it was like, if you've never been, here's a tour. And while we play a jazzy paso, you know, it's like, yeah.
This will be
everlasting love. Yeah.
That song somehow, though, still always reminds me of Parent Trap.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. The last time I saw this movie, I hadn't been to Chicago. Subsequently, I've been to Chicago and now watched this movie, and I was like, oh, Chicago!
Yeah.
And it was like fun.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, that's cool.
But so then it cuts from, like, this montage, it ends abruptly.
Oh, yes.
And it's just like, I remember when my father, and you're like, oh, okay.
I don't remember being so orange.
Yeah.
It should have been flipped. It should have been her VO, Dad and I, traveling the world, her sort of setup, and then Chicago.
Exactly. Exactly. Places like Milwaukee.
Exciting destinations like Milwaukee. It's amazing how exotic Wisconsin isn't.
So, can we talk about her chunky knit sweaters?
Yes.
And how I'm obsessed with them.
I just remember, I don't know why, I always loved that she takes a little tiny present out of her sleeve.
Well, Andrew, I've got something for you. I got you a ring pop.
What? You shouldn't have.
Did all your dreams just come true?
Yes.
It's a full circle. It's complete.
I wish I was wearing the ring pop shirt though instead of this one.
Well, you know, what are you going to do?
Speaking of which, you can buy this shirt along with many others. Perfect Christmas gift at MovieBitches.threadless.com. Also, check our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter because we post free shipping coupons and stuff like that so you can get a good code and save some money. Because fuck them, you get the money.
Well, don't fuck it, but...
Well, I mean, you could. I don't know what your relationship with Threadless is, but, like, maybe that one's cute. It could be your own meet-cute rom-com.
There is a rom-com where a guy falls in love with a girl over, like, he's, like, a telemarketer.
Ooh.
And they're, like, chatting. She's Indian, I want to say, and it was, like, really cute.
Outsourced?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's the one where he, like, moves to India to, like, run the call center.
No.
It's pretty... like,
no.
racially inappropriate,
No.
but, like, still kind of a cute movie, but you're like, this is still, like, not okay.
No, this is like, I'm a business guy, but I happen to have to keep calling, and then they start chatting over the tech support.
Cute.
I remember it being cute.
Yeah.
I was like, that was nice. Yeah.
I didn't know we were exchanging gifts. That was fun. I haven't had a ring pop in a long time.
Oh,
you proposed.
Oh, apparently.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched The Proposal on the plane.
Yeah.
It's a cute movie.
I love that
Sandra
movie.
Bullock is fucking great.
She's a star. It's just got very weird.
Weird. Sorry, guys. Ooh, cherry.
Yes, so her chunky knit sweaters.
Oh my god, I love.
So, obsessed. I love her outfits, even though they're atrocious. It's a lot of layers, a lot of heavy jeans.
So
coat, heavy,
yes,
baggy coat.
Yes.
I mean, she might as. I mean,
it was her dad's.
No, I love it, but like, I'm just saying, she's got a lot of layers.
Yeah.
Lots of cropped sweaters with long skirts that I wasn't mad about.
No. The only look that I really was like, oh, Sandy, what's happening? Was the first one where she's in the booth and you're like, oh, that hair.
Oh yeah, I mean, her stringy bangs. They progress. They get better.
They get better.
It's crazy. It's like when she's lonely and sad, her hair's worse.
Of course.
Which makes sense. You know, she's like...
Visual storytelling.
Can we talk about Joe Jr. and...
I love Joe Jr.
His, like, Andrew Dice Clay impersonation.
Hello, Luce. Nice, sweater.
It was... I love him, and yet I was like, you're a predator.
Hey, my old man's got a set of keys.
That's illegal, and you know it, Joey.
Like, I was, like, having mixed feelings. And yet he's not, and yet he is. And yet he... I feel like it handled it well.
I think it handled it well.
I was definitely, like...
Nice panties.
They were certainly jokes from, like, an era where, people weren't really talking about it as much. But I never felt concerned for her.
Absolutely not.
I think partially just because...
she was so sort of on top of it.
Exactly. She's like, I'm not interested. I'm not wearing black underwear.
I never said I would go on a date with you.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Did too.
Didn't.
Did.
Didn't.
And then that whole,
love
like,
this movie.
subplot about him being, like, a low-key transvestite. That whole thing.
Just, he likes to try on her shoes. They make
Which
him feel
made sense.
comfortable.
Like, I had kind of forgotten about that, and I was like, oh, is this going to be, like, a gay panic? Like,
oh, no.
I'm glad it wasn't, but I'm saying I didn't know. I had forgotten where if it went anywhere.
Right
it
now
was just a throwaway, like, oh, and he's weird because he tries on women's shoes. I didn't know, but I liked that it was sort of informed his character.
Yes.
It was like, oh, and that's why he's sort of overly compensating in this like masculine, like over the top situation. And I was like, oh, you're informing your character. That's interesting.
He's a sensitive guy.
You deserve better than that.
I remember always feeling so bummed that he...
How are things going with this third floor?
Sheila from the third floor didn't stay together. Because I was always like, oh, it's
He's
so
gonna
nice.
make it.
She's going to end up with Jack. He's going to end up with Sheila from the third floor. It's going to be great.
I love your new cologne.
Yeah, it's called Paris Guy. It's from France.
They could get back together.
They could.
It wasn't like a full stop.
You're right. In my head now, I'll just imagine they get back together.
Yeah, he and
or he finds love now that he's not holding on to Sandra.
Exactly. Should we talk about PeterGallagher? PeterGallagher in slow motion.
Oh my god, right? The first
Coming
time I
up.
saw him.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
I love that the 90s thought that Peter Gallagher was sexy.
I mean, he's not sexy.
He's not, that hair. Can we talk about his hair? He's like sitting there in a coma, and I was like, is this a wig? It's so perfect.
Well, I like that it was like, yeah, of course they're brothers. Bill Pullman and him are brothers.
Because they have fabulous hair.
Fabulous hair. We will talk about Bill Pullman for so long.
Oh, I knew we would.
I'm so excited to talk about Bill Pullman. But we're talking about Peter Gallagher at the moment.
Yep.
So even as a child, I was like, no, Bill Pullman. Like I was never like,
of course.
Yeah,
no,
Peter
it was
Gallagher.
always, you belong with Bill Pullman.
But like at this point, I didn't realize it's like pretty far into the movie before you meet Bill Pullman.
Yes.
It's like a solid half hour, 45.
It's a long ways in because you don't meet him until
after Christmas. You don't meet him until they have Christmas.
After they have Christmas, because he's not actually at the dinner.
No. Because he's busy making furniture.
Sure.
Sanding some rocking chairs.
Why wasn't he at Christmas dinner?
I think it was this sense of like he was trying to break away from the family and he was like feeling disconnected. I mean, maybe I'm reading into this, but that he was like trying to have some sort of separation and be an adult.
But like, he's gonna come home for Christmas. I mean, he lives in Chicago.
He was just really busy.
I guess. He was busy buying all that furniture because it wasn't on actual Christmas.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be like, let's keep him a mystery as long as we can.
Yes.
Like, you haven't met Jack? Oh my god, you haven't met Jack?
Oh, she's great. You're gonna love her.
Oh, you're gonna love her. He will.
She's like Nostradamus. So Peter Gallagher.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, fabulous clothes, right? Like, he always has these long trench coats and whatever.
Yeah. So she jumps on the tracks. He gets mugged on Christmas. Do we think he was heading to his parents' house or to work on Christmas Day? Work, right?
Probably. But maybe his parents' house, but why would he take the subway or the whatever?
It's an express!
It's an express!
It's her delivery that really makes it work, where you're just like, oh my god, this is crazy! And then she like rolls him over.
Thinking about this, I do think this movie could work with Meg Ryan.
Absolutely.
I don't necessarily want it to.
I love it as it is, but it could have worked.
I think the cast is utterly perfect, honestly.
Yes,
I wouldn't change one person. But if it had to be someone else, I could see Meg Ryan pulling this off.
Absolutely.
Lactose intolerant!
This movie shouldn't work for so many reasons, right? Where it's like, oh my god, this is like a creepy story. Like, even the title, While You Were Sleeping, sounds like a murder like story. You're like, what? It was While You Were Sleeping. You know, like, you're like, what is this movie though?
Yeah.
But because the family is just like this hilarious, fabulous unit.
Yes.
And she is so charming and great, and he is so charming. You're just
the
like
cast
the whole time,
just sells the fuck out of this movie.
They really do. It's because of them that you're just like, fuck yeah.
This is my son. How is he? You can't come bursting into this unit.
Their son is in a full-blown coma.
Right?
And this is the delightest, just most pleasant romp. You know, you're just like, wait, but he's like fully in a coma, guys. And it's like, let's have Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes!
Oh, we'll go to Walmart on Monday.
Oh my god, you got me an appointment to get my ears pierced? You know. Is it the gold one? The watch? Oh my god! Like, it's just so, they just really have a chemistry.
You know what we never find out?
What?
What they got her for Christmas.
I really wanted to know.
I wanted to know too, because it was like
last minute.
Well, right.
Although they probably got a great deal because, you know, it was the day after Christmas.
Sure. But they were so it was like, they were so quick, right? They're like, here's a stocking with Lucy on it. Like, they moved just like, because this is like a day later, 2 days later.
Maybe,
it's unclear.
Maybe two.
Maybe
at
two.
most.
Yeah. What did they get her for Christmas? They don't know much about her.
A chunky knit sweater.
Probably.
So we have Peter Boyle as the dad.
Yeah.
Ox, who's fabulous. Glynis Johns, who's fabulous.
Oh my God. She's the best.
And Jack Warden, Saul, who I always remember from Problem Child. You know, there's those movies that you watch like 5 million times as a kid. So like this movie. So like certain character actors, you're just like, oh my God, it's so and so from whatever. Like, it's just like in there forever. Jack Warden for me is both from this and the Problem Child movie series, which I feel like I should not rewatch because I would absolutely hate and think it was terrible.
I don't know anything about that.
You don't know about Problem Child?
Never heard of
Amy Yasbeck and John Ritter. And they have like a kid. It was sort of a take on like, let's do a funny live action version of Chucky in some ways.
Oh.
He's not a serial killer, but he's just like a big pain and everything's loud and you know those movies for kids that are just like really in your face.
Yeah.
And like at the time you're like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I want to watch Clifford about Martin Short being like an adult child.
Are you out of your tree, sir?
And then you watch it back and you're like, oh, this is almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
This is unbearably
interesting. That's probably why I don't know anything about it.
So anyway, Jack Warden, I think he's fabulous.
He's really great in this movie, I thought.
Yeah, honestly, if Saul at the end had just disappeared in a puff of smoke and was like, I was a spirit the whole time.
He was Santa Claus the whole time.
Oh, oh, oh. Santa Claus pretending to be Jewish. I wouldn't have been surprised.
No, then it would have been a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, then yeah.
Let me handle it. I'm too old a friend and too old a person for them to kill. I'll take care of it, all right? Okay. And I'll do it right now. Okay. Come on. Right behind you.
Even though, like, his character, you're kind of like, what? You're messing it all up. But, like, also you're making it all work.
He's like, you know, Clarence the angel. You know?
Yes,
He's just sort of like, except he's Jewish.
God. You know what we need to watch? A retro review of?
It's a Wonderful Life?
Angels in the Outfield.
Totally.
I loved that movie. And also The Sandlot.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Honestly, I feel like the reason that I like baseball the most of sports is because of movies.
Yeah.
Like, they have the best movies.
Yeah,
like
that's
League
true.
of Their Own, Major League, you know, Angels in the Outfield, The Sandlot. Name me like a really fun, like, kids football movie.
Remember the Titans?
It's not fun.
No. But it is good.
It's not bad, but you know what I mean? Where it's just like, we're having a fun, like...
Mighty Ducks? And that's not football, but I mean, it's a different sport.
Sure.
I love that scene. I love that whole movie. We need to do a League of Their Own.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bill Pullman.
Oh my god. I love Bill Pullman. Mainly because of this movie, I think.
I think so, but like
I saw this movie 5 million times and then became obsessed with Bill Pullman and then decided to watch every movie Bill Pullman had ever been in, and like some of them are good and some of them are not good. It's like Malice, you can skip it, you know, it's not, you're fine. But then like Spaceballs, like definitely watch Spaceballs. He has that kind of Midwestern, hunky, nice.
He's a real nice, charming guy
just like,
who splits his Wranglers slipping on the ice.
The weird thing is, that was the one thing I really forgot from the movie.
Really?
He split his pants.
Oh, I always remember
I remember 100% the adorable we're slipping on the ice scene.
Oh, I totally remember him.
Every moment of that. For some reason, like, I feel like did that just happen? Or was that planned?
No, I think it was planned.
Is that my pants or my muscles?
It had to have been planned because the visual of it is like cotton stuffing came out of his butt. You know,
it's his tiny whitey.
I guess, but it was like, it looked fluffy. You know, it was like confusing to me, where it was like, is that the cotton stretching?
He's got a bubble butt.
Well, he has a little bit of a white boy butt, like a good one, where it's like, okay, there's something there. Just slip those pants.
He was filling out those jeans.
Yeah.
Also, they both would have frozen to death.
Frozen.
Chicago was so goddamn cold. He's just in jeans and a
just
jacket.
Jeans.
I was like, nah. No earmuffs, no hat.
Oh, I would have frozen it. I mean, they would be frozen. They walked all the way from. Don't even get me started. P.S. Fun little weird side.
Yeah.
The apartment where Peter lives.
Yeah.
Is where apparently Oprah had her apartment. It's like on the lake at the edge there.
When she came into his apartment for the first time, I was like, love this apartment. Can't wait till you redecorate.
Redecorate. But
it
was so stark and cold, of course.
It's very clean.
Yeah.
Very clean. I love Bill Pullman. He's great.
He is great.
He was so charming in this movie.
Don't you find
that whole conversation?
Wanting.
His like deep,
right,
gravelly voice.
Yeah.
Hugging and leaning are two different things. Leaning involves the whole body.
Leaning involves wanting.
Go, Junior.
Junior. Are you okay there, Luce?
Dude, he's leaning.
Are you sure? Because it looks like he's leaning. Thank you.
I feel like my family quoted that like all the time. Like my dad would be like leaning. It was just like a thing. It was like vernacular from this movie.
Of course.
So many different lines.
When they're all at church and the grandma's just like,
I like Mass better in Latin. It's nicer when you don't know what they're saying.
And you're like, yeah, that's
like,
also true.
I think what makes this movie so great is that you're like, even if you have a great family, you're like, I want to go spend my Christmas with the Callaghans.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to that house.
Absolutely.
That like perfect Chicago John Hughes Home Alone kind of
Yep.
house. It's all, it's cold outside, but it's warm inside.
Yeah.
Oh, I made eggnog and just like, oh.
But it's a little too strong. I don't drink anymore.
I don't drink any less. I don't.
Yes, bitch!
I love her so much.
She's the best. With that little silly camera with the little pop-up flash.
Watch the booty. Oh, she's the best. I mean, I guess you're supposed to kind of like Peter Gallagher, right? Like at the beginning, right? She likes him.
You're supposed to kind of want her to get with him, but you're like, this is weird. I don't know if they belong together because she doesn't really know him. And then you get to know him more as she gets to get to know him more, and you're like,
when you're seeing this movie for the first time, let's say, you have no idea Bill Pullman's in it, whatever,
you're
right?
in for a treat.
You're just, well, obviously, if you haven't already seen this movie, for the love of God,
go watch it
right now. Go watch it 4 times right now. But if you haven't seen the movie, obviously you think that, like, her and Peter Gallagher are supposed, like, that...
Right, at first you think that there's going to be
she's going to fall in love, like, that maybe, I just realized that this is sort of like The Big Sick, where, like, they're in the coma, and then you fall in love with their family subsequently,
Yes.
and then like you fall in love. So it easily could have been just like she falls in love with the family and him,
and then he wakes up, and then they fall in love.
And then they fall in love. That could be the movie, right?
Absolutely.
But I love that over the course of the movie, you realize that Peter is a total douchebag.
Yeah, he's a putz.
But Peter, you're a putz.
You're a putz.
She's looking through his wallet, and he just has like vanity pictures of himself. Like, who does that? The apartment.
That's what I said. I was like,
he has like the black and white, like.
I was like, who has the what?
What's going on here? Should we talk about his one testicle?
Peter has one testicle.
I'm his mother. I'll check.
I mean, that was. I'm not gonna lie. That was a weird scene. It was a whole weird plot line. I mean, I get it because it was like she needed to have the one thing where it was like, oh, she knows.
Well, it was bizarre that so. The scene is playing out that Bill Pullman thinks that Joe Jr. is her boyfriend because Joe Jr.
and he thinks she's lying or whatever.
Thinks she's lying. Jack is the only one that doesn't quite trust her.
Sure.
At this moment. So then the family is saying, well, you have to prove it, which I thought was very bizarre. I think what they should have been saying is prove you're not dating Joe Jr., not prove that you have been intimate with our son, right? So it's bizarre, but they set it up in a way, that she knows this private detail about him that he...
Which was so weird, but like, whatever.
But that was even played right. Like, the guy who tells her is just like...
Well, of course it was an accident. I mean, it wasn't my... Did he tell you it was my fault? We're playing basketball, all right? I carry a pencil. I'm a lawyer. I do that.
A lawyer carries a pencil.
He should have been like, I'm an accountant. I'm an accountant.
Maybe,
I carry a pencil. That makes a little more sense.
A little more sense.
I'm a reporter. I carry a pencil. Nobody carries pencils. What are we talking about?
Right.
And then his mom just, feels his junk.
I feel like it should have been the dad.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Kind of.
I think, honestly, it probably should have been Glynis Johns.
The grandmother?
Yeah.
No.
She would, of the characters.
Sure.
She would have been like, oh, let me do it,
That's
or whatever.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm the kooky grandma, whatever.
That's true. If
and
she wanted to prove it, she would.
If she wanted to prove it, she'd prove it.
They just have such a natural chemistry together. They just, it makes sense that they would have fallen in love over 2 days, 3. Well, I guess it's like a week,
it's
right?
Like a
there's
week.
New Year's party, so it's like over the course of a week.
You need a better coat.
This is my dad's.
Oh, and he's probably freezing.
He passed away.
Sorry. Well, what was he like?
He was a lot like me. Dark hair, flat chest.
I will say, I really appreciated this. At some point she says, I don't have anyone to laugh with. Or she says it in her speech to his comatose body.
Right. I'm all alone.
Yeah, I don't have anyone to laugh with. That was the specific thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't remember the details of that speech.
Yeah, it's great speech.
It's great.
Yeah.
Sole possession of the remote control. It's very important. It's just... I've never met anybody that I could laugh with.
It helped really set up the whole thing. And I was
Totally.
like, okay, cool.
Like, they immediately get each other's humor.
Well,
you know, like, they're both joking around. Like, it's just instantaneous. And you're just like, oh no. Like, from the get.
I think the sofa should go right there.
When he scares her on the stage. Oh, you know.
And
he's sexy thermal. I love Bill Pullman.
We get it.
Sorry about it. Not sorry about it.
Not sorry about
I love Bill Pullman. What can I say?
Yeah. And it's like, oh, so love is laughing at each other's cheesy jokes.
Yeah.
And I was like, but wait, yeah. Talking about squad goals, like, yeah, I want, like, you know, that's exactly what you want, is someone that you can just be, like, stupid and laugh with. I was like, this movie gets it.
It totally does.
Of course they fell in love, because they laughed at each other, and he gave her a snow globe with Florence in it.
I mean, he's just a classy guy.
I mean, I remember as a kid being like, oh, it's romantic. It really was.
It really was.
He was thoughtful.
Slightly like, bitch, you go to Florence by yourself. You don't need a man. Like, 10%.
There was a little bit, even to this, like, watching it again this time, at the very end, spoilers.
They get together.
When she goes, you know, they're going down the train, and he goes, he gave me
the best present of all,
a stamp in my passport. I was like, bitch, what? Like, I thought it was that you, like, had a family.
Right.
And laughter and whatever. Like, come on.
Jack gave me the perfect gift. A stamp in my passport. He took me to Florence for our honeymoon.
Yeah, it could have been like, you know, he allowed me to have someone to share the world with.
Aww,
something.
That would have been really cute.
We can.
He gave me the world to share. Yeah.
We can fix the sentence structure later, but something to that effect.
I agree.
Like, he gave me someone to share the world with.
Yes.
Which is what the whole point with the dad and the globe.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. That's true. That would have really fixed it for me, because it was like,
I just went, oh, but you definitely could have gone by yourself, girl.
At the almost end, she says to her boss,
I even wish it were yesterday, because you know what? That would mean that today that I would be on my honeymoon, that I would finally have a stamp in my passport, and that it would say Italy on it.
ick, right?
I
You're
was
like, no, you're pulling a PeterGallagher right now.
Shit, you're being gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PeterCallaghan, whatever. You know, but then she, like, realizes when she's at the altar that that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to marry this guy just so I can go to Italy.
Right.
But then the end...
It was like, oh, now I get to go to Italy.
She needed to have learned a little bit more and been like, oh, like, he gave me a partner to share the world with, or whatever the fuck it was.
When he comes to her door, and she's in the wedding dress, and she's like, is there any reason I shouldn't marry your brother? And he's like, no, I can't say it yet. And you're like, oh, Bill Pullman.
I mean, what was he supposed to say? Yes, because I love you?
No, they had to wait for the dramatic wedding that was impossible, that would never be happening. And that was insane.
That wedding at the hospital.
It, like, makes sense in the movie because the movie's perfect.
Yeah.
But I was still like, this is absurd.
You suck. I suck, or the outfit sucks.
It's a toss-up.
I suck or the outfit sucks. It's a toss-up.
I love that they didn't have the whole, like, Peter Gallagher, like, I'm betrayed. I mean,
Oh,
because
totally.
he never, like,
He never really knew her.
But I like that it was just understood that, like, they were brothers, but they weren't, like, best friends, betrayed, you know, like, whatever. There was, like, a hardship there and a fracture from Peter going off to be a lawyer and, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I never resented anything you had.
Until her. Oh.
And I was never envious of anything that you had. Until now.
Can we talk about Ashley Bacon?
Oh my god, Ashley Bartlett Bacon.
So, I had forgotten that this was Ally Walker. So this is an actress who I was obsessed with her hair. So she's in Universal Soldier, which is one of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movies because it's just so stupid and we should 100% watch it. But she just has the most fabulous hair. And I was always like, yes, love it. And now she's on Longmire, and I was like, yay, good for you. So I was just excited to see her show up.
I mean, I always loved her, but like you love hating her, obviously.
You can't take my nose back.
I paid for it.
Well, then here, you paid for these too.
Her cat, Fluffy.
I love it.
Fluffy.
Peter doesn't have a cat. You're just like, now what, Bill Pullman? Any more questions?
What does Bill Pullman think is going on?
It's a great question.
Like, what? Why would she lie? You know what I mean? Like, it was such sort of a happenstance of how it happened. In Bill Pullman's mind, is he like, oh, she's after his money? Like, there's no really
yeah, it's not clear.
explanation for like why he's so suspicious.
Sure.
Like, what is he suspicious of?
Right.
Which one of the Three Stooges was Peter's favorite?
Curly.
Curly. Ha! He's everybody's favorite.
You like brunettes.
I really don't know Jack's type, so I'm not one to.
I like blondes, chubby ones.
Awkward. These potatoes are so creamy.
Oh my god, these mashed potatoes are so creamy.
You like brunettes.
Oh, she's a brunette.
Oh, and she's Sandra Bullock, so like, yeah.
Duh.
Where do we think they are now? Do you think he succeeded in his furniture business?
Oh, like continuing the movie? That was always a question of mine too.
I always wanted, this is one of those movies that I love where it's like, oh, I wish there was 5 more minutes. It's so good. I wish there was 5 more minutes.
Just of like them being a family together.
Making out, whatever, I don't care. You know, something, right? Where it's like, same thing with Soap Dish, where I'm just like, oh, but just 5 more minutes. It's so good. I love it.
I always wondered, why couldn't the furniture businesses merge?
Right?
Callahan and Sons, we buy and sell
custom
estate furniture and also sell custom homemade furniture.
The dad does say like, well, it could be a side business. And he's like, no, it's a real business. I think it was more of like, I'm going to make it on my own.
I guess.
But like, yeah, they definitely could have merged.
It could have been Callahan and Sons still, but like, we'll do a little bit of both.
Is she going to business or something?
Well, that gets tricky. The business used to be called Callahan and Sons, and then when Peter went off to law school, it became Callahan and Son. If I were to leave, it'd just be Callahan.
I told you parked too close.
Oh my god, I love that scene. Like, the best part of their relationship is that I love that it's always Sandra Bullock being right.
Oh, yeah.
And him being, like, obstinate, and then her just, like, being vindicated, and it's like, yeah. You should listen
but
to
he's okay with it. Like,
oh,
he's
yeah.
like,
oh, yeah.
He loves it.
He loves being embarrassed. It's like, yeah. You knew you had it coming.
The amount of times he just shows up at her apartment in real life, he is a stalker.
Who is it?
It's me, Jack Callahan.
Doesn't anybody use a phone anymore?
Right? He's the crazy one.
He is just constantly showing up at her apartment. But
Jack.
She's so damn lonely.
Yep.
She's like, yeah, they're made for each other. What can I say?
Exactly. It's not good for the baby.
Because it's not good for the baby.
In the original screenplay, it was supposed to be a woman in the coma and the man that falls in love with the family. But the studio was like, that's not going to work.
Nope. It's going to be real creepy.
Real creep, weirdo creep.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope.
No, sir. I was trying to think of who could make it work. Kevin Kline comes to mind.
Maybe. Yeah, because look at how well he pulled off, I'm a serial robber.
Right? Like, oh, I'm going to steal this car in front of you, but I love you. It's fine. You're great. Leak.
Leak.
No, not Luke. Luke.
But if Meg Ryan was in a coma the whole time, like, no, and she'd have to be such a bit, like, the character wouldn't work, right? Like, oh, no. She's like this, no.
Well, because Meg Ryan would be the sister, not the coma.
Right, sure. But then who would her sister be?
Who cares?
And what's wrong with the sister? Like,
she's a workaholic, you know.
But then we're shaming women for having careers.
She's just a real bitch for no reason.
No, I'm glad that they did it the way that they did it. Whatever studio exec that was made the right choice.
It was originally supposed to be Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, and I feel like that's a no for me.
A no, hard no.
I mean, don't be wrong, I like them both, but
sure.
that's a no.
No.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have worked.
Matthew McConaughey was up for Jack. Big fat no.
Wasn't he like 12 at the time?
He was quite young. I was like, because I realized watching this movie, he's a bit older than her. Bill Pullman is
he was like 5 or 6 years, maybe.
Slightly older than her, but I liked that he was like a man. You know what I mean? He wasn't like a silly boy.
No, it wasn't young. He was like an adult.
An adult person. And I enjoyed that.
And she was an adult woman, but like a younger adult woman.
Yeah, she hadn't quite gotten it together.
I mean, I will say this. Get it, Sandy, because she looks basically the same now as she did that.
Exactly the same. Russell Crowe was up for Jack.
Oh my god, no.
Would have been atrocious.
Atrocious.
He could have maybe been Peter. Maybe. And that's being generous.
Now, Michael Fassbender could have been Peter, but I don't think he could pull off Jack.
No. I'd be willing to let him try. Him as the Jack character, I want to see that. Like, I want to see if he can pull that off.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he has like a kind of, dangerous, weird sexuality doesn't mean he can't also be like that's
charming.
Under the surface.
Well, we've seen him be charming,
but not in that way.
Not in the same way, but no. But like you've seen it in his own.
Just in Michael Fassbender.
And even within roles where it's not even supposed to be there, but you're just like, God damn, you're charming.
Oh yeah.
So that's why.
Like Fish Tank shouldn't work, but you're like, yeah. I want more rom-coms, first of all.
I do too.
And I want more, quote unquote, real actors, right? Because, the reason this movie works is the cast.
Absolutely.
I want that for now.
It's true, because I was thinking about it, I was like, this kind of is like a Hallmark movie, like a Hallmark Christmas movie.
This could easily be, there's plenty of movies and then I got a Carson, got amnesia, and now I'm pretending to be his fake fiance at Christmas because blah, blah. And it's like, oh my god, this is nonsense. But
because it's exactly because it's all of them, it's like, no, this actually is like a real movie, and it's great, it's fabulous, it works. James
Spader was up for Jack. Now I think it would have been real weird, but I'm also into it.
Of course you are.
He could have been Peter.
Yes.
Easily. And then it would have been a little more of a toss-up about who she was going to pick.
Oh, wow. Some shade on PeterGallagher there.
I'm not... He's no James Spader. Dermot McDermott.
Which one? Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott?
Dylan McDermott. Dermot McDermott. But again, I feel like he is more of a Peter. You don't remember which one's which, do you?
No.
Good. Dermot Mulroney, Best Friend's Wedding.
Right.
Dylan McDermott, The Practice. You didn't watch the TV show The Practice?
That was the spin-off of Grey's Anatomy.
No.
What was that? Private Practice.
Yep. I love that. So there's a wedding scene at the end that's utter nonsense, but I love it.
Yeah. With him on the IV,
he's wearing a pajama top. She's wearing an atrocious dress.
Atrocious. It works well as a tie too.
But I love that she gives the speech at the end, not Bill Pullman.
Absolutely.
I am in love with your son.
I know.
Not that one. That one.
And he's like, why didn't you tell me? She's like, I didn't know how. Oh, it's so good.
Why didn't you say something?
Because I didn't know how to tell you.
And so she walks out, I've told the truth, and I'm, all these things, and Bill Pullman's heartbroken, and it's like, oh. And she's at her...
Is he heartbroken?
He's not heartbroken. He's emotional.
Sure.
And
it's a shock.
He's conflicted.
Yeah.
And she's working, and he tosses the ring through.
I always loved this scene.
And they're all there, just like...
I am letting him do it.
Get down on one knee.
Get down on your knee. It's more romantic.
Proposing, let him do it.
I am letting him do it.
Can I come in? I can't.
Oh, I always thought that was cruel.
I can't. Not without a token.
Not without a token.
His face. I was always like, don't do that to him. You've already put him through enough, Sandy.
It's so good. I love it.
So fucking
It's
good.
their dynamic. It's just, not without a token.
How fucking ugly was that love seat they gave them?
Thank you. Oh my god. That still has been mind-boggling to me. It's like, it's an anniversary or a wedding gift or whatever.
And she's like, oh my god, I love this rocking chair.
It's this hideous sofa. They know their son. They've seen his apartment.
Right. Well, have they? Apparently.
Apparently
disappeared from their lives.
Right? I don't know.
Maybe they thought she would like it. Oh, I love that he makes furniture.
Of course. But not from, like, airplane parts that he finds on the beach.
He doesn't make money on the side stripping.
No, he does not. He maybe could.
I don't think I want to see Bill Pullman strip.
No.
That's not what I see for him.
Mm-mm.
I want to see him give emotional monologues with his gravelly voice.
Yes, and like lean.
Maybe he's a sexy president. I don't know, whatever. The just married thing on the back of it.
I loved it.
I love and hate it. It's so stupid.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean,
think about the mechanics of actually doing that. There was no one on the side, like, grandma wasn't there, like, ah!
That's true.
It was just always felt a little odd.
I get that. Like, I guess it was just supposed to.
It wasn't like she loved her job.
No.
Like, she liked her,
in fact, wasn't she quitting? Wasn't that her last day? It was the day that he gives the ring and the thing. After she had, it was after
so she had already quit because she was going to go to Italy without him, maybe. I hope so. I hope that's what the subtext of that
maybe.
Is. That she was like, I'm going to live my life out loud by myself.
Yeah, I'm not going to marry this guy that I shouldn't have married anyway. I'm just going to quit my job and I'm going to move. Like,
I'm going to go find Italian Jack. How do you say Jack in Italian?
Giacomo.
I'm going to go find Giacomo in Firenze. Yes. I hope that's the implication of that line.
Sure.
And that then they just went together.
Right. Exactly. She's like, well, I already have this flight book, but you can join me. Maybe you can upgrade us with your points.
You think Jack has points?
He makes rocking chairs. He doesn't have any points.
When he was like, I've sold 3 this month, I was like, I feel like you should stay with the family business and then make some side cash.
It seems like a good side business. That's what I'm saying. I didn't understand. I was like, you guys have a furniture company. This all makes sense. You just make shit until you can make enough shit, and then you stop buying as much dead people's shit. It all makes sense.
Right. Do you want to know what else this director directed? Because I was curious.
John Turteltaub.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but his name stuck in my head.
So, John Turteltaub directed 3 Ninjas. And Cool Runnings.
Oh, yeah, Cool Runnings. Makes sense.
He had a run. He went 3 Ninjas, Cool Runnings while you were sleeping.
Nailed it.
It just got better.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I love this movie.
love this movie. It happens to take place at Christmas. Because it wasn't originally written to be at Christmas. They changed it to make it more marketable.
Interesting.
So they could sell it as like a Christmas movie.
Love it. It does really help. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole, being sad at Christmas is even sadder.
I mean, can we talk about that when he's just like, you're the only one without family. And you're like, that's, not appropriate for your boss to, he can't ask you to work us. I think it's not, he's crossing the line.
And I promised my kids I'd be there for them this year. I know it isn't fair, and I can't make you do it. But Lucy, you're the only one.
Without family.
But, of course, if she hadn't worked Christmas, then she wouldn't have saved his life, and then she wouldn't have changed her life forever by falling in love with Jack.
I love it. And empowering herself to go to Florence.
You know what other movie we have to retro review? Another creepy rom-com that works super well.
Excited. Which one?
Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, totally. That one I feel like is creepier.
There's less excuses.
Yeah.
This one, they really covered their bases where it's like, no, Saul said don't tell him, her boss said don't tell them, then Saul was like, I'll tell them, I know all about it, don't worry, it's fine. And then he's like, just kidding, I didn't tell them, oh, you're getting married, it's great, that's what I wanted all along. It was like...
I love that speech when Sal's like, if you've got any brains at all, you'll just marry her. I know you haven't met her or anything, just marry her, she's great. Everyone falls in love with her.
If I was 40 years younger, I'd marry her myself. That is, if she'd convert.
I was like, this is weird, but I love it.
It works. So, definitely watch this.
Oh my god.
I feel like I need to make sure that I watch it as a Christmas movie now.
Every year.
Right?
It's literally one of my absolute favorite rom-coms.
It's just, it always puts me in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's always, you just leave with warm fuzzies.
Like I said, It's just so pleasant.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Subscribe, share. Trywink.com/moviebitches. You get all your Christmas wine. You can send gifts to people.
Do they have port?
Maybe. I don't think so.
That seems Christmassy to me.
Oh my god, this is
a dessert wine.
It's a dessert wine.
It says right here it is a dessert wine.
Cheers to Bill Pullman!
Yay, and Sandra Bullock! Oh, Sandra.
And Glynis Johns.
Oh my god.
The whole cast.
The whole cast.
Leaning involves wanting.